The reason I walk in a t-shirt mid-winter is not because I'm trying to impress anyone. I just know that I'll be sweating my ass off since I never walk at a snail's pace like most people. Rather, I focus on maintaining a fast, blood-pumping kind of stride, or what I call dynamic walking. Now, I know that most people call this power walking, yet I refuse to do so since the term always brings in my head a vision of middle-aged women walking around my block with 1-pound dumbbells in their hands, and this is why I've decided to give this a new name. Now, if you're wondering what exactly is dynamic walking, why is this video 10 minutes long if it's just about walking fast, and when the fuck am I going to get to the freaking point? Well, in a nutshell, what you want to do to get started is, first of all, pick a pace that is fast enough to keep your heart rate constantly above 100 beats per minute. By keeping your heart rate above 100 beats per minute, you're still giving your heart a workout, or to use a more technical term, you're still doing cardio, but you're just doing it at a lower intensity, which is called zone 1. So what are the benefits of that? Well, for starters, you can get more steps and burn more calories in less time compared to a lazy paced gait. Dynamic walking is a lot more invigorating and it increases your caloric expenditure up to 30%. Plus, we all know nowadays that getting enough steps every day is crucial for general health and longevity, but especially if you're working an office job, this can be highly challenging. Therefore, dynamic walking is a great way to squeeze in more steps in less time, not to mention that the more you do it, the better and faster you become at it. Another cool thing about zone 1 is that it also lacks that feeling of self-punishment that a lot of people have when they're trying to run. Lastly, zone 1 helps you stay highly active without, though, compromising strength training performance. As mentioned in previous videos, my goal this year is to get in the best shape ever until mid-May, since not only is that my 40th birthday, as you can hear it in my voice, I'm already getting older, but it's also the date when I'll be a dad to twin baby girls. To accomplish all that, I've been increasing both intensity and volume of my strength training pretty high lately, which makes every drop of rest and recovery really matter. Therefore, I've also taken jogging off the table and I've switched back to dynamic walking, which I must say has made a big difference. I'm recovering faster, I keep getting stronger, while at the same time staying highly active during the rest of the day, and all that, again, while increasing my training volume and intensity without feeling my energy tank compromised. In fact, when your muscles are beaten up from your strength workouts, as they should be, dynamic walking is a great form of active recovery, since by increasing blood circulation and by extension to that, oxygen and nutrient delivery to your muscles while flushing out waste products, you help speed up the healing of all soft tissue. By the way, if you need a strength training workout plan that gets the job done in less than 90 minutes of total training per week, and a plan that can be done anywhere with just a set of gymnastic rings, make sure you download our new program, Rugged 90, which is absolutely free, and you can find that link in the top pinned comment below. When you're at that, stress is a regular part of life. And when stress gets out of hand and it becomes a long-term situation, it doesn't just affect mental health, but it also crushes your hormones, your performance and recovery, while also making you more prone to injury. So what does that have to do with dynamic walking? Well, besides keeping you fit, dynamic walking also keeps you sane. For me, it's one of the best ways to hit the mental reset button, a way to escape the chaos of everyday life. It's basically one of the best ways to boost your mood while helping yourself think through problems and clearing your head. It's basically a meditation without the need for incense or chanting or sitting cross-legged while torturing your lower back. Speaking of lower back, I almost forgot to mention how it's also one of the best forms of exercise if you're prone to lower back pain or if you have a sedentary job and your back often feels quite sore and stiff. By the way, before we jump into why dynamic walking is probably a lot better for you instead of cardio, I want to ask a quick favor. It's been about a month since I've stopped using ads in my new videos. So if you've been enjoying that, if you want to keep this channel ad-free, then please like this video, subscribe, of course, if you're new here, and even more importantly, leave a comment below. It really helps this project to keep going. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that cardio is bad in general, don't get me wrong. As a matter of fact, if you are not at that phase of your life where your kids are highly dependent on you, if your job is not that demanding or stressful, if you get 8 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep, then adding some zone 2 cardio can be great for you. As a matter of fact, if that's the case and you enjoy cardio, I've actually made a whole video on how to incorporate that into your weekly training in a way that aids your muscle building goals, which I'll link in the top comment below. But if that's not the case for you, if you are the average busy dad juggling work, family, and a ton of responsibilities while dealing with a lot of stress on a weekly basis, then cardio can actually be a double-edged sword, which more often than not hurts your muscle building goals rather than helping them. Not to mention how if your only cardio option is jogging and your only surface option to jog on is basically cement, then cardio can also be murder for your knees and ankles, especially if you're a heavier guy. All right, so to put all this into practice, what we're aiming for here is an intentionally fast-paced walk that builds up both the sweat and your heart rate. If you don't have one, I recommend getting a decent watch with a heart rate monitor that notifies you when your heart rate drops below 95 to 100 beats per minute. Other than that, and a decent pair of athletic shoes, my recommendation here being a pair of zero drop open toe box sneakers. You don't need anything else, which is the beauty of walking. Another tip here to spicing things up is if you have things such as hills nearby or any kind of incline terrain or stairs along your route, instead of moving past them, include them in your walk. And lastly, to keep yourself motivated, you can also set goals such as beating your last week's best mile per hour pace. Finally, if you have a very low step count during the day and you're just getting started with this, my advice here is to start small with 20 to 30 minute dynamic walks and build that up from there. If you're a busy dad, you have to be realistic, which in my book means that you need to take advantage of the morning. Front loading your day with a dynamic walk before your family wakes up is one of the best ways to start your day. It's even better than coffee. Well, that's a lie, actually. Nothing is better than coffee, so why not combine both? It's also a great way to warm up for your morning home or outdoor workout. Next, squeezing it in midday during your lunch break or when you typically have that energy dip is also a great option. Even a 20-minute dynamic walk here can help you reboot and re-energize your brain better than any kind of energy drink. In the evening, either after work or after your kids are in bed, a dynamic walk will clear your head a lot better than collapsing on the couch and watching TV. Plus, it will also make a difference in your sleep. You can even turn daily errands into opportunities. For example, instead of taking the car, you can do your groceries on foot. Plus, carrying those grocery bags back home will add an extra level of difficulty that will help you ramp up the intensity even easier. Also, the reason I always almost have a backpack with me on my walks is clothing. So although I do end up with a t-shirt, even during the winter cold months, I always start a lot more layered up when getting out of the door. The idea here is to always dress in multiple layers and gradually remove those as you start to heat up to avoid sweating too much, which is actually the real danger when it comes to catching a cold. Plus, if like me, you tend to sweat more than a snowman in a sauna, you can always change a shirt and keep going. By the way, if you feel overwhelmed trying to put all this into practice on your own, if you don't like training at the gym and you feel that you'd benefit from a more rounded but also more custom tailored approach that fits into your busy dad lifestyle, that covers everything from nutrition to training and mindset. If you need that extra accountability to stay consistent until you can make that change that sticks, but you are also ready to put in serious work, then you can always fill in the application below to learn more about our one-on-one coaching program, the Dadbod Demolition Project. This way we can book a free consultation call, see if this is a good fit for both of us, and take it from there. That was all for today. If you have any questions, as usual, leave them below, and until next time, keep on training.